Hello and welcome to another episode of In Conversation with Rashmi. Today, my guest, I have Nicole Schiener, a registered psychotherapist, and she also provides therapy at Family Counselling Center of Cambridge and not Dumfries. So thank you, Nicole, for joining me in this conversation today. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
So things are with you, and how are you doing through this whole COVID and self distancing and isolation and things like that?
It has been a bit of a roller coaster for sure. Lots of different emotions coming up in terms of just kind of managing working from home, trying to support my children. I have two children, so supporting them with the whole homeschooling, distance learning thing. My husband actually works with a vulnerable population, so that's been a little bit stressful, but also really wonderful in terms of being able to find other ways to stay connected, and really making sure that self-care and all those good practices that I was doing before, that I maintain them to the best of my ability during this time, and then share them with others to help support them as well.
And you are working for Family Counselling Center in Cambridge and not Dumfries, and they just celebrated 80 years this year. So how has that affected what you do with the organization?
So we are all working basically from our homes, providing phone counseling and, where possible, video counseling, because we know that the need is so great, but we also obviously wanted to honor safety. And had planned on doing some events, obviously, for our 80th anniversary. So trying to get creative about how we can still kind of have an enhanced presence in the community this year, offer value, and also look at ways to fundraise, knowing that the needs are going to be even greater because of the losses and the stresses that people are going through right now, and when they come out of this.
And Nicole, you mentioned about the 80th anniversary that the organization is, you're looking at organizing something. So what are you looking for from the community to help with supporting this cause?
So what we're really inviting community is to share with us any talents that they have, any passion that they have for mental health, and any of the other issues that we support. So much of our resources go directly to the client work that we do. And we've been limited in terms of our ability to market and fundraise. So we would love to be able to partner with a few community leaders, entrepreneurs that maybe haven't been able to work fully in their business right now, to just kind of talk about what our agency currently does, the vision that we have, and just kind of bring those talents and those ideas together, and then really enhance the amount of information and education that we can put out there in terms of awareness and adding more value to our community members, so they know who we are, and B, can feel validated in some of the things that they're going through, and C, feel empowered about some ways to cope, and what resources are out there that can support them.
Online these days, kids, there are parents who feel the stress of juggling the online lessons and also working from home and trying to balance it all. So is it fair that parents feel a sense of guilt that they're not able to give that 100% to them? What would you tell those parents?
Absolutely. I think guilt is so common. I know I have felt it. My children are older, but I'm home with them all day long, and yet I'm not really able to spend a lot of time with them because I'm in my bedroom with my door closed doing my client work. And so one of the things that is really important is for us to be able to separate out helpful guilt from unhelpful guilt. So a lot of the guilt that parents have is unhelpful guilt. So that is the guilt that we put on us, or that society puts on us, really, by trying to live up to these unrealistic expectations, right? And it comes from, comparing ourselves to others and not realizing that, it's like the apples and oranges kind of thing, right? We might be comparing ourselves to someone who is not able to continue their regular job, right? So they have more time that they can focus on the homeschooling thing, or maybe they were already doing that. Or we compare ourselves in terms of where we're at on an emotional or physical level, right? Some people are struggling with chronic pain, or we're already struggling with mental health issues. So to put that pressure of trying to keep up and not take into consideration the unique needs of individuals and of our children, I think really sets all of us up to feel like we're failing and to have more tension in our home. So first we have to look at, is this guilt serving us? Is it supporting us? And sometimes the guilt is helpful. So if we are kind of overwhelmed by everything that's going on, and so we just distract ourselves, in hours of Netflix or social media, and we really are neglecting our children, or we're not getting enough sleep and then we're short with our children, that guilt that we feel is helpful guilt, because we can use that as an invitation to look at, what do I need? What am I avoiding? And how can I take better care of myself so I can be more present for my children?
And those who are all by themselves and lonely and isolated, and social distancing definitely is not helping them connect with loved ones. So what advice or suggestion would you give those struggling with mental health, and this is the worst time to be in a situation that we are in today? So
absolutely. So I think even that term, social distance, we've challenged that term, right? And we've said, no, we're not stopping socializing. We just have to be creative about how we do that, right? We are social beings and we need to have that connection. So especially for clients and people that I know that live alone, it's so important that they are talking to somebody, ideally every day. And so if they do have some friends or some safe family members that they can reach out to, that's fantastic. There's also the distress line for crisis. There's the crisis line through Here 24/7 that is continuing to run. I always let my clients who have a trauma history know about the 24/7 line that the Sexual Assault Response Support Center offers. Our agency provides counseling Monday to Friday, and people just have to call into our intake line, which is 519-621-5090, extension 0. And we're getting people in fairly quickly to start either the phone or the video counseling, because some of our ongoing clients have chosen to wait. They had enough sort of coping strategies and had developed a relationship with us that they prefer to wait till they could resume the face-to-face counseling. So we're actually able to see people even a little bit quicker than maybe prior to the pandemic.
And people need to connect with you and reach out. Could you share your social media handles with us so they can connect with you?
For sure. So our website is just FCCC.nd.com. So that's 3 C's for Counselling Center Cambridge and North Dumfries. And then our Facebook page is Family Counseling Center and then CND. And that's the same for our Instagram.
Thank you so much. And before we wind up, one last question. I know, mental health is a huge stigma, even to this day. And with everything that's going on, the stigma seems to continue and people are hesitant to reach out and connect. And we hear there are more, alcoholism and there's abuse going on. So what would you tell those people who hesitate to reach out for help?
Well, I think, it starts with you and me being willing to share about the human experience, and that, it's hard, it's complicated, and the more that we can be honest and vulnerable, we start to normalize some of those feelings. One of the things that I've created on our Facebook page is a series of videos on Mondays called Mindful Mondays. And they're little exercises, mind-body practices to help to soothe and calm the nervous system, to help to kind of build up the tools in your coping toolbox. So that could be a great place, you know, to start. And I think the other thing is just to know that these experiences that contribute to our mental health challenges, they're normal. You know, loss, right? That's a normal part of life to experience loss. Most people at some point will experience some kind of anxiety. Anxiety is a normal reaction to what's happening right now. We don't often get all the tools that we need for coping and emotional intelligence when we're growing up, right? Our parents do the best they can, but you know, each generation we kind of learn more, right? So these are skills that we need to develop. So there's no shame in reaching out. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Maybe there was something wrong that happened to you, or there's something wrong in terms of how our society is organized, that you know you're at a disadvantage and being oppressed in some way, and that's affecting you. But each of us, we are born with inherent value and worth, and nothing that we can do or that can happen to us can take that away. And so it's really about reminding people that healing happens in connection. You don't have to go through this alone. And these times when you're feeling really down or overwhelmed or losing hope, they are temporary. It's just really hard sometimes to see the light, to find the hope when you're in, you know, the depths of that despair, that darkness. And that's what counseling helps to do. We help to hold hope for people until they can get to that place themselves.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It was a pleasure chatting with you, and stay safe, stay healthy. And I'm sure I'll post the links up where people can connect and reach out to you and your organization. So thank you.